542 people were sentenced to death. 629 people were sentenced to life in prison. 1,323 people convicted of murder were imprisoned an average of 9.25 years. 467 people convicted of rape were imprisoned an average of 10 years. 16 people died in prison after being in prison an average of 10 years. These numbers reflect people who were wrongly convicted of a crime. The justice system doesn't work the way it was meant to, and we have to make sure that it does. The reasons behind wrongful convictions include eyewitness misidentification, unvalidated or improper forensic science, false confessions or admissions, government misconduct, informants and snitches, bad lawyering, and the lack of knowledge by the jurors. You could become one of the wrongfully accused just by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Eyewitness misidentification is the single greatest cause of wrongful convictions. They play a role in 75% of convictions overturned by DNA testing. Imagine that you are in a place that a crime was committed. If an eyewitness saw you there, they could pick you out as the person who committed that crime. Unvalidated or improper forensic science is the second greatest contributor. Examples of this are hair samples, bite mark comparison, firearm tool mark analysis, and shoe print comparisons. If you were at the scene any time prior to or after the crime, you may have left hair samples or your shoe prints on the scene. This could also cause you to become a suspect in a serious crime. False confessions happen for a lot of reasons. These include duress, coercion, intoxication, diminished capacity, mental impairment, ignorance of the law, fear of violence or actual infliction of harm, the threat of a harsh sentence, or misunderstanding of the situation. You may not feel this could have anything to do with you, so I'll move on so you can see how it could. Government misconduct includes law enforcement officials employing suggestion when conducting identification procedures, coercing false confessions, lying on the stand, failing to give all the evidence, and providing incentives to secure unreliable evidence from informants. Law enforcement could try to force you into a confession or even lie about the evidence to find you guilty. Informants and snitches are also used to wrongly convict. These are people who are either paid to testify or who testify in exchange for a sentence reduction or release from prison. Informants who are paid or who will not go to jail if they point a finger may find you as their scapegoat. Bad lawyering also has an impact on the number of wrongful convictions. This can happen because of lawyers' failure to investigate, call witnesses, and prepare for your trial. Some examples are lawyers sleeping in the courtroom, failing to investigate your alibis, call experts to the stand, or even show up for your hearing. How would you feel if you were accused of a crime you didn't commit and your lawyer did any of these things to you? You would probably be convicted and be sitting in prison. Jurors' lack of knowledge is another reason why people are convicted. A juror does not need to be trained in the law to serve. This can result in the lawyers confusing and tricking them. Also, a juror is only there to listen and decide the fate of one of their peers. They are not allowed to ask questions if they don't understand. Finally, a juror never has to say why they made a guilty or innocent decision. If you've made it this far into the system and you were innocent, you would probably choose to go to a jury trial. How could you possibly be found guilty? However, if the jury doesn't understand, they could find you guilty. You would never know what caused the jury to find you guilty. There is a solution to this problem. The solution is to have no convictions without DNA testing. Now I'd like to show you a short clip of a man who was wrongfully convicted.
My name is Dan Cage. I'm 43 years old, and I was convicted of a crime that I did not commit. I kept, really just asking the question, why me? Why this happened to me? It was a nightmare, and it's just something I thought and believed in myself that I didn't do this crime. And finally, in 2008, I got justice. Finally took the DNA test with the help of the Innocent Project in New York. So right now, I might want to try to get back in school. I'm trying to take up some classes like computer or business or carpentry, electrician. But I have 3 sons, and I want to try to, catch. I know I ain't gonna never be able to catch back up what I lost with them, but I need to, start spending more time with them and help them out with their problems.
As we can see, all of the wrongful convictions are made by human error, eyewitness, forensic mistakes, coercions to confess, government misconduct, informants, bad lawyering, and jurors are all examples of this. However, it is said that DNA does not lie. Knowing this, we can conclude the way to eliminate wrongful convictions is to eliminate the personal errors. We can become a nation where no one is wrongfully convicted. This could mean a lot for our country. Prisons would no longer be filled to its highest capacities. People would no longer be used as the basis to your guilt or innocence. Police would no longer have a reason to coerce and inflict harm on suspects. Wrongful convictions would stop causing families to break apart. These families would no longer be ruined, and more children would have their parents in their lives. There are several things we can do to reduce the number of wrongfully convicted citizens. Stay informed and take action. You can donate money to make it possible to overturn these convictions. Reach out to the media and let them know that you are interested in knowing about this subject, and spread the word about this problem. You can become actively involved with your local procedures and reach out to families in your community. If you are ever on a jury trial, make sure that you understand the information before jumping to a conclusion. Keep in mind that everyone is impacted when a wrongful conviction is made.